So here is a record tree. This is Osmanthus yunnanensis. This tree was originally, about 100 years ago, a seed in China that was collected by George Forrest. It grew up to be a record tree, and it grew up to be a record tree because of its girth. And you measure the girth of a tree for recording purposes as 1 meter from the base of the trunk. So this wonderful tree started to decline and decay from old age, and then its sister blew down flat on the ground. So we thought we've probably lost this tree. We were left with just one little shoot, and we thought, what are we going to do? So we got a mini digger, and the roots were lying on their ground like that. We dug around where the roots had been, and we pulled the trunk back, secured it to the main tree with a rope, and we hope very much that during the course of the summer we'll see new shoots emerge from these old trunks, and that the tree will then start to grow away again perfectly well. Quite whether it's still a record is anybody's guess, but at least we've now given this tree a chance of recovery. As you can see, the tree that we cut back a bit earlier has indeed started to shoot from the side. It's not dramatic, and there'll probably be some dieback, but we have indeed rescued it from certain destruction and going on the bonfire. In a second we'll go and have a look at another tree which suffered a similar fate in a gale, and you'll see what we've done there to try and revive and restore it. So here was another disaster that occurred about a year ago. Another record tree, a form of privet called Ligustrum confusum, and this was a record tree both for its overall height and indeed for its girth, 1 meter from ground level. It blew over. You can see it was a pretty big tree, but as you can see, some of its roots are still in the ground. Many of them are out of the ground and are dead, but there are a few that are still buried in the ground. So when we cut this tree up, we decided we would just leave the trunk and see what would happen. And a year on, look at the shoots that have emerged from the trunk. Look at the new growth that's already coming this year. Just before the tree died, we collected seed from it, black seeds in profusion that were there in the autumn, because we thought the tree was getting pretty elderly and might blow over. We've actually got a nice few seedlings growing on in the greenhouse, so we would have preserved the tree, but actually nature has done it for us. You can see there where a deer has had a little bit of a nibble at the new growth, but where the deer can't reach, we've got a bushy shrub developing again. We've got the old original. In time we hope that this will grow up again into being a large tree. It'll develop its own root system, and obviously the trunk will rot away, but we think there'll still be a tree here in the future. So by not rushing in and burning everything when the tree first fell down, hopefully we've now preserved a rare species and what was a record tree for posterity. Just a little bit of thought and planning, and a disaster may have been partly avoided.